Layoffs at big tech companies started with a quiet trickle, but now appear to be accelerating. This includes established big names, Web3 unicorns, and everything in between. Patreon has now become the latest in a veritable parade of tech companies to announce layoffs. A year ago, this seemed unthinkable. But now it is seeming like an ominous sign of things to come. And it comes as the United States teeters on the brink of recession. This video continues our coverage of the wave of layoffs sweeping the United States. What does it mean for the big tech companies? What does it mean for the economy? And what does it mean for the future of the United States? But before we get into all of that, please press the like button and leave us a comment below. We would love to hear from you. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you are notified of upcoming videos when they are released. Patreon is laying off 80 people. That amounts to about 17% of its employees. Patreon has announced the closing of offices in Dublin and Berlin. The cuts are happening because the company is changing its plans after trying to rapidly grow during the pandemic, said Patreon CEO Jack Conte. We are reducing the size of teams in operations, recruiting, and other internal support functions as well as sales and marketing, continued Conte. Patreon employees will receive 3 months severance pay and 2 weeks per half year of service beyond their first year as a Patreon employee. The company is giving 9 engineers in Ireland an option to move to the US and closing 2 of its European offices in Dublin and Berlin. Tuesday's changes come after Patreon laid off its 5-person security team last week. The change would have no impact on our ability to continue providing a secure and safe platform for our creators and patrons, said Patreon executive Ellen Satterwhite. Patreon CEO Conte said, "The cybersecurity layoffs were part of a longer-term strategy to continue distributing security responsibilities across our entire engineering team. Patreon is continuing to work with external security experts and said that the new approach will increase how much Patreon invests in keeping the platform safe," Conte added. "This was ultimately my decision, so I wanted you all to hear directly from me about the reasoning," Conte wrote in the Instagram post. "For those of you who rely on Patreon for your businesses and communities, I want to assure you that the company is making this move so we can continue to be a rock for your businesses," Conte also noted. Patreon is just the latest in a growing list of U.S. tech companies announcing layoffs as the U.S. teeters on the brink of recession. The Federal Reserve has aggressively raised interest rates in 2022. That has led to a dramatic reduction in consumer discretionary spending. And corporate ad spending has fallen off a cliff. Twilio is not the only tech company that is making job cuts. Here is the list of companies that have announced layoffs in August 2022 alone. Snap, owner of Snapchat, announced a 20% reduction of employees. This amounts to approximately 1,300 workers. Snap also initiated a major restructuring of their online platform. Apple announced that it is cutting 100 positions and slowing hiring and spending. Oracle, the worldwide software giant, has cut hundreds of positions but declined to say how many. Most job cuts are said to be in the customer service unit for U.S. customers. Crypto trader Coinbase announced a 20% workforce reduction. Crypto lender Genesis cut 20% of its workforce due to what they call turbulence in the cryptocurrency market. Online stock brokerage Robinhood cut 23% of its employees. This is the second round of layoffs for Robinhood so far in 2022. Twilio announced a layoff of 11% of its employees just days ago. Twilio has yet to reach profitability and is targeting its first profitable quarter in 2023. In a letter to employees, Twilio CEO Jeff Lawson said, "The company decided to lay off staff in order to run more efficiently and to align the company's investments with its priorities. Twilio has grown at an astonishing rate over the past couple years," the letter continued. Twilio will take $90 million in charges related to the restructuring plan in the third quarter. The layoff will affect up to 900 Twilio employees. Twilio stock has cratered 73% this year. Connected exercise pioneer Peloton has cut 800 employees, announced several store closures, and raised prices. Even companies that are not considered to be in the technology space are announcing job cuts. Walmart is cutting 200 corporate employees. The job cuts are focused on merchandising and real estate. Car giant Ford announced that it is cutting 3,000 salaried and contract workers. The job cuts are in India, Canada, and the United States. Wayfair, the Boston-based home goods company, Wayfair is cutting 870 employees worldwide. HBO and HBO Max cut 14% of its employees, which is about 70 people. Bed Bath & Beyond, the latest meme stock, is cutting 20% of its corporate positions as part of what management calls a major restructuring. It is also closing 150 stores. Gannett, the largest news publisher in the United States, announced the elimination of dozens of positions. Electronics retail giant Best Buy has cut hundreds of jobs in its stores across the U.S. due to what they call a challenging macroeconomic environment. Online prescription glasses retailer Warby Parker is cutting 63 corporate positions. This is about 2% of its worldwide employee base and 15% of its corporate jobs. Google, which has not yet formally announced layoffs, said that there would be an overall review of sales performance and performance in general. According to the report, the warning states that if third-quarter results don't look better, then there will be blood in the streets. Last month, CEO Sundar Pichai acknowledged, during a shareholders' meeting, that Google's performance has been far from good. Despite the number of employees, Google seems to be underperforming as a company. Recently, Pichai shared his plans about a hiring and investment slowdown through 2023. Pichai is publicly asking employees to work with greater urgency and more hunger. Last month, Meta Platform CEO Mark Zuckerberg told employees that the company plans to reduce its hiring target for engineers from 10,000 to between 6,000 to 7,000 amid the market downturn. Realistically, there are probably a bunch of people at the company who shouldn't be here, Zuckerberg said. But what do you think? Please leave us a comment below and hit the like button. We would love to hear from you. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you are notified of upcoming videos when they are released. Please share this video on social media. Thank you for watching.